Welcome to the studio, it's Froyle here, and today we're going to experiment with some image transfers. Now, I get questions all the time about this particular jelly printing technique, which I totally love. And one of the questions is, which home printer do you use? Well, actually, I don't. I get my prints from Warehouse Stationery, which is just a 5-minute drive down the road. They work every time and I love it. I don't actually have a home laser printer, but I would like to know which home laser printers work, because then I could have one. So my friend Libby has been asking at her art group about the image transfers, and one of the girls there said she's had success with this particular Brother laser copy printer. So, being the fabulous friend that she is, she sent me some prints to try, because if these work, yes, I will be rushing out to buy one of these printers. Is this the printer, the one that's going to be the best for jelly print image transfers? That's the question. So she sent me a few prints and I started with this one. It's actually an image of one of my fabulous photos from Italy. Beautiful. Beautiful. Now I'm using the Liquitex Muted Violet, one of my favorite colors, and this has always been a successful paint for the image transfers. Now for these experiments, I'm going to use the same paint, pull it with the same color, and use the same paper. We're going to try a few different prints to see if these are going to work. Now you want a good even cover of the paint, not too much because it'll get smudgy, but not too little or it won't take a decent transfer. Paint down, the print goes on. I usually count to about 10 and then I pull it off. Sometimes I do a bit of a cleanup around the side just so I'm happier with my print. Sometimes I don't bother. It just depends. Now, first impressions on looking at my transfer, I'm not overly impressed. It doesn't seem to have enough saturation of colour, but we'll push on or keep trying. We can't judge it yet. There's quite a few prints to get through. Now, when the transfer is dry, you add the next layer, which I'm using a golden Titan buff to pull the print, and I'm going to pull it on wet strength tissue. Now, I do like to leave it for maybe 10 minutes, just so that paint layer is completely dry, because it does pull the print up better. So what do you think? Here's the first print taken from the Brother Home Laser Copy Printer. I don't know, man. I'm still not impressed. It's a little too pixelated for me. I don't know, it's not strong enough. So we're going to have to push on. Let's try it again and let's do exactly the same method, the same paint, the same application, the same amount of time, leaving it on the plate, letting it dry and pulling the print with exactly the same color. Same paper, because then the experiments are going to be consistent. Okay, so now we have the second print pulled off the plate. This one might be a little better. I don't know, man. I actually used the muted grey in this one, and it has a few sparkles because my gel plate still has some gold foil from last week. I love it. I love that stuff. So this is the second print. I'm thinking maybe it's a little better. Maybe the paint volume has something to do with it. I don't know. But let's do exactly the same for this one, which is my print from Warehouse Stationery. This is an image from Unsplash, which is a royalty-free website. And I'm using the Muted Violet of the Liquitex paint straight on the plate. The exact same time of how long I've left it on the plate, how much paint that I put on, how much time I left it for drying. It's all consistent. So how did this one pull up? You can see it now on the plate. It's pulled up so much better. There's so much more intensity of color. I'm telling you, I'm loving it. So I'll let this dry and then we're going to pull it with the same Titan buff and wet strength tissue. Okay, so here it is next to my other prints. And what do you think? I mean, I gave it a fair shake, I'm telling you. I'm not trying to be tricky. It's just a plain one color image transfer on the plate straight from the print, and then we've pulled it with the same colors and the same paint and paper. So if you look at these prints, you can see my warehouse stationery has won this round, that's for sure. But let's not be perturbed about that. Let's have another go. Libby sent me quite a few different images. So I'm going to pull out this one here. It's a portrait looking. Looks like she scanned it maybe from a magazine. Not sure. But let's give this one a try. Right, so this one I'm using the muted grey of the Liquitex on the plate. Even coat. Print down. And then we pull it up. Voila. Oh man, it's not very impressive. I'm not impressed, but we'll push on. We'll add the next paint layer. We'll pull the print and we'll see how it goes. Now, this time I'm using an Atelier brand of paint, Pastel Arctic Blue, beautiful color. Rolled it over. It's a full-bodied paint. It might pick it up better, but we'll just have to see. And I'm using the wet strength tissue. Now, the paint pulled the print up quite beautifully, but the image transfer is really not impressive. Have a look at it. It's still looking a bit faded to me. So I'm going to try this other one that Libby sent me because it has such dark areas. On this particular figure, it might work better because technically the toner in the ink is what resists the paint and causes it to stick to the gel plate. So where there's dark or colored areas, that's where you're going to get the best image transfer. Technically, that's how it works. But oh man, I used the same paint, I did the same method, I kept it on for the same amount of time, and I've pulled it off to what? To what? It didn't work at all. It completely failed. What's going on with that, Libby? What have you sent me? You're trying to frustrate my life. I don't know, man. This one didn't work at all. There's absolutely nothing on the plate to pull. Total waste of time. Wiped it off. Righto, I'm pulling out one of my warehouse stationery portraits and we're going to have a go with that because we are comparing and we are experimenting. So I'm using exactly the same paint, putting it on the same way, same thickness, same amount of time on the plate. Pull back my laser copy print. Ta-da, ta-da! Now that's how it's supposed to work. Look at it. It's absolutely beautiful. Beautiful transfer on the plate. Nice and dark, good contrast, great paint layer. That's what I want to see. Not this sketchy business. So I waited for it to dry and then I rolled on the same Pastel Arctic Blue color. Beautiful. Pulled that print. Feeling much better about life. So there we go. The two prints side by side. What do you think? Warehouse stationery, home laser printer. Oh man, it's not looking good. The experiments are not over yet. We haven't come to our final conclusion, but at the moment, this is 2 for 2. The warehouse stationery print is actually had 2 wins out of the testing prints. So there's something else I really like to do with my warehouse stationery prints is print them for a second time. Now I like to use gold because it's just fun. It creates a texture and it really doesn't matter if the print works or not. So I decided to have another round and test the prints again using a second transfer of the copies. So beautiful Atelier rich gold on the plate, and this is the warehouse stationery print. Put it on, same amount of time, pulled it off, have a look. It leaves an absolutely beautiful texture on the plate. I'm loving it. And then once it's dried, I rolled on the quinacridone violet. This is absolutely one of my favorite colors. Pulled it with the wet strength tissue. It's looking absolutely beautiful. There's such a gorgeous, rich texture of the gold from the paint, and then you get 2 for the price of 1 because they're not cheap, these laser copy prints from the warehouse stationery. So when I get to print them a second time, eureka, I feel like I'm really winning. Then I thought, okay, well, what about the home laser copier? Would it print again? I don't know, man, because the first images weren't so great. So I don't know if it's going to print again. But what have we got to lose? Nothing. Let's try it. So I used the same gold paint, put it on the plate, put the print down, left it for my small amount of time, pulled it up, and I'm shocked. I am actually shocked because it worked. Look, have a look. You can see it there on the plate. It transferred the image. I really didn't think it was going to because the first one was pretty mediocre, so I didn't think it would work for a second print, but it has. And it looks really good. I'm using the same quinacridone violet and I'm pulling it with the wet strength tissue. And have a look. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm in absolute shock at how good this print turned out. Actually, I think I like it better than my own warehouse stationery print, which was a little too smudgy. I think I had too much paint on the plate, but that turned out rather stunning. So I don't know, man. I think this round, the home laser printer got the win because that's a better print. So is it the actual images? Is it the amount of paint you're using? Is it the paper that you're pulling it with? All of these variables do make a difference. So I took another print, a second print off the first copy, and it's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not brilliant, but it's not too bad. This was the first one, the first print off the plate, and then this was the second one with just the gold. And you know, I'm thinking that's working. The first one, not so much. I don't like the way it's it looks like there's not enough paint on the plate, and there definitely was. I'm thinking these home laser print copies actually really respond more like a magazine page. Magazine pages are very hit and miss. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. And it depends on how much paint you put on the plate and what your image looks like, how much toner is in the actual print copy. So I'm thinking these ones really remind me of that, which is a little hit and miss. I don't like the miss, man. I like the hit. I don't like the miss. So it's a little hit and miss. That's all I'm saying about that. But the second copy has worked really well. So I'm thinking maybe with my kind of subpar first prints, maybe there just wasn't enough paint on the plate for this particular print copy. So let's have another go. Let's put more paint on the plate. Now, the problem with this idea is having more paint on the plate, your image is going to be more smudgy. But I do think we need to experiment with this idea. Now, thankfully, Libby sent me 2 of each print copy. Thank you, Libby. That was very kind of you to do that because I do love experimenting and we are looking for a home laser copy printer that will work for these image transfers. So the second one of this same print, I'm putting it on the plate with exactly the same paint because we do like to keep our experiment consistent, but I'm adding more paint than what I would normally do for an image transfer, knowing that it might not be a great print. I've left it for the same amount of time, and when I pull it up, yes, you can see it is darker, the color's more saturated, but it is definitely more smudgy or blurry. Had to let it dry a little bit longer, but then rolled on the Titan buff and pulled it with the wet strength tissue. Now you can see that it is stronger in color, which I personally do like. I like a more saturated color, especially compared to the first print that I took, but it does lose all of its definition because there's technically too much paint on that plate. So when you're doing the transfer process, you're not going to get the definition, but you're getting the saturation of paint color. Oh, man. So I'm thinking that figure image that completely failed the first time, what about if we try that with more paint? I'm using the muted grey and I'm putting it on the plate a little thicker. Is that going to work for this particular print copy? Because it does have a lot of dark contrast areas. I mean, technically, when I look at it, I think that should work brilliantly. Pulling up the print, ta-da, meh. It's another failure. There's that image or that print copy or that paper or whatever is just not working. Putting more paint on the plate to try and get it to work just made it look smudgy, and it's a total mess. In fact, I wiped it off completely because it's a waste of time even trying to pull that mess. So then I decided to try the other portrait print that had come in the pack. 2 for the price of 1. Absolutely fabulous. Put some extra thicker paint on the plate to see if I could pull a better print. And again, there is the saturation of color, but it's smudgy. The image transfer is not clear, it's not detailed, and I wouldn't even bother wasting my time with it. It may sound a little harsh, but what are you going to use that for? I mean, I can rip it up for sure, but unimpressive. Not happy with that at all, especially compared to my image transfer print. Same colors, exactly same paint, same paper, same time, same amount of drying, exactly same everything. And I'm telling you, this one is winning. So what do I think about all this? Would I actually rush out and buy one? Yes, I did. I got in the car and I went down to Warehouse Stationery and I bought one of these printers. I was just annoyed that the prints weren't working how I wanted them to, and I knew I could do better if I could get to the source and print them out myself. Then I could have more control over the variations, and I'm sure I can do a lot better. So I brought it home, pulled it out of the box, set it all up, got it connected to my computer, and we're all ready to go. Now, I'm using normal copy paper, but it's 100 GSM. I'm thinking that a little bit heavier might be better for absorbing the ink and hopefully creating a better transfer process. Well, that's my theory. So I'm starting with the Naples shot because it's been a good test subject, and I'm using exactly the same paint, the muted violet on the plate, rolled it over, put the paper on, waited for the same amount of time and pulled it off, hoping for great things. Now, it's not brilliant, but it's not as bad as it was. So we are taking steps in the right direction. Pulled the print with the fabulous Titan buff and it looks okay. It's not brilliant, but it's okay. Now, when I was down at Warehouse Stationery getting my brand new laser printer, I got some of this paper, which is professional quality color laser print paper. It sounded fancy, don't you think? So the second print, I decided to do exactly the same image, same paint, same pool color, but using this paper, because I'm figuring that if we can sort out which paper works best and which paint works best, I know we can do this. We can have a home laser printer that's going to work. Almost as good as the commercial printer, I'm thinking. So this is the second print. Ta-da, ta-da. It turned out pretty much the same. In fact, it missed some of the bits down here. But that really is going to depend on the amount of paint. But it's a lot better than what I had when I first tried Libby's print. So that does make me hopeful. Now, I don't think that the print on the fancy laser print copy paper really printed any better than the copy paper 100 GSM. So I don't think I'll be worrying about trying that or getting more of that because the other one's way cheaper. But it's still printed. We're doing okay. So for my test subject, let's do it again. Same Naples print, but using my Warehouse Stationery print copy. Same color paint, same pool color, and I'm pulling them all with the wet strength tissue. So we're using all the same paper. And how does it look? Ta-da, ta-da. Well, when you compare them, the Warehouse Stationery print copy for this particular image is still winning. It's still winning. So I'm thinking, well, I bought the printer now. I'm going to have to make this work. What about we try something else? This particular image is stunning with a Warehouse Stationery commercial copy laser print. That's all I can say. The home copy one just doesn't compare for the depth of color detail on the print. But we can use it for other things. Let's try the portrait print that I tried previously with the warehouse stationery copy, and let's see if we can get that one to work. So I'm putting it on the plate. I'm using the muted gray. Now rolling it on, I'm thinking maybe it might have been a little too much paint, but we're going ahead now. It's too late. It's on the plate. So we put the print copy down from my brand new home laser copy print, pulled it up. It's not too bad. It's definitely got more depth and more color to it. It's a little smudgy. There was a slight fraction of too much paint, but we're moving ahead. It's working. So I'm going to pull it with the pastel Arctic blue like I did the first time, and let's see how it prints. Have a look. It's pretty beautiful. It's not too bad. And I would say it's pretty similar and on par with my warehouse stationery print. So that tells me that the image matters that you're using, as well as the amount of paint. It's a little dark, maybe a bit heavy, but I think it's dramatic. I love it. So that's okay. You have to vary the paint that you're putting on your plate. So I'm thinking I'm going to try it again. What have I got to lose? The printer's sitting here now. And I get 1,000 copies out of the printer. That's what the marketing says anyway. So let's give it another whirl. Let's try it again. I'm using the same muted grey on the plate. Put the print copy down, pull it up. I'm waiting for the same amount of time, about 10 seconds-ish. Ta-da, ta-da, it's looking pretty good. This one's working well. This time I'm going to roll on a brilliant red because yes, I'm feeling dramatic and I just want to try it. Now remember, you do have to wait for all these layers to dry in between. I'm just fastening it up. You know how the jelly print process goes. You don't need to watch every single step. Have a look at how fabulous the red copy is. Very dramatic. So this one printed up slightly less smudgy because I had a tinier less amount of paint, and the amount of paint does matter. Both of these images I printed out with the regular copy paper of 100 GSM, so that's working well. I think we're winning. I think we're starting to win anyway. I think we're heading in the right direction, but I might just do a couple more experiments. Now my favorite image of my little treasure, let's have a go with one of those because you know how much I love them. So I'm putting her on the plate with the muted violet. Same process, pulled it up, and she's looking pretty good. Yay. Then when that layer dried, I added my favorite transparent red iron oxide, a light coat on it, and then I sprayed it with the water because I want to create the texture. I love this. It just requires waiting. That's all. That's all. Then when that one was dry, I rolled on a little bit of the bronze. I did the same, sprayed it with water, creating the texture. It's creating a beautiful pattern around her glorious face, and when that was dry, I put on the Titan buff and pulled the print. Now this time I decided to use my favorite Japanese rice paper just to see how this print was going to work, and she's pretty good. I mean, it's probably not as brilliant as some of my other ones, but in saying that, some of those other prints, even the warehouse stationery print copies, I've mucked them up by putting too much paint or not enough paint, or I've had problems with them. So it really doesn't matter. I think what print copy you're using, you can create brilliant effects and you can muck it up. This one's turned out really good considering it's my home laser printer. I'm pretty happy with it. I would definitely use this for collage. I think the face has turned out beautiful. The texture's great. It's got fabulous color and markings and patterns on it, and it would look great with some collage paper, putting it on canvas. Yippee, eureka, we're winning. I'm feeling a lot better about this idea. I'm wanting to try one more experiment, and I've got this fabulous image of one of my beautiful doors of Italy. It's a great collection. I loved it. Had a fabulous time in Europe. taking all these photos. So I'm going to use one of these images. I'm putting it on the plate with the Liquitex Muted Pink this time. And when that was dry, added my favorite transparent red iron oxide, a layer of that, and then a layer of the beautiful iridescent gold. I'm pulling the print with Titan Buff, and it turned out pretty good. Oops, tore it a little on the plate getting it off. But the print turned out great. It's got great texture. It printed really well. And this beautiful gel print was taken off the image transfer from my home laser copy printer. So I'm feeling pretty happy about that. I think we can explore this some more, experiment with the amount of paint, the papers that we're using, and the time that we're leaving it on the plate. Now I've pulled this one with tea bag paper. I wanted to try and see how that one would look. I have done this before, and let's compare them. So this is a previous one, tea bag paper, with exactly the same colors, except this one I used my warehouse stationery print for the transfer. This one was my brand new home laser copy printer. What do you think? What do you think? Well, there's a little bit more strength in the color, but I think I actually sprayed on too much water on this one and kind of dissolved more of my paint. Does that matter? The color up here is actually stronger than on here, so you never get the same print created a second time, and that's the beauty of the fabulous gelli printing. They're unique mono prints. But looking at the actual transfer process, I'm thinking my new laser printer at home is working okay, and I would definitely use this in a collage as much as I would use this one. So I'm thinking the experiment has been a success. I'm really happy that I went and bought the printer and tried it for myself. Otherwise, I just would have been miserable. I do think it's a fantastic idea to have one at home instead of having to run down the road all the time. And if I want to create something in a spontaneous whim, I can just print it out and make it happen. Now, in saying that, some things still don't work as well as the commercially printed one from the warehouse stationery, but I'm thinking that we can definitely experiment some more and see what kind of prints and what collages we can create, because I'm thinking that it's turning out okay and we're going to get the hang of it. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed my experiments. I did have a lot of fun creating them, and you know this will probably continue next week as I print out a ton more transfers to try. You'll find more information in the description under the video if you want to know exactly what the printer is or any of the other paints that I've been using, and you can find out more about who I am on froilart.com. I hope you're going to come back and join me again next week in the studio, because you never know what we might be doing.